The media doesn't want you to see this. ICE agents are being shot, swarmed, and targeted in the streets. And the same people defending criminals are continuing to play victim. Meanwhile, CNN just admitted exactly what we've been saying for years. This ain't about a policy debate anymore. It's looking like a war. Watch this.
Did you see what happened in northern Texas? It's beginning. So for those of you who don't know, a group of armed civilians decided to engage and act appropriately to a group of ICE agents. One of the ICE agents was in the neck, and another one of the civilians was killed. So it has begun. We knew it was coming, and while this is the first instance, it will not be the last. In my opinion, this is an appropriate response to people being kidnapped in broad daylight off the street and having masked and armed men who don't have to identify themselves taking American citizens. So I'm keeping an eye on it. It's quite an interesting development, one we knew was coming, like it's inevitable, violence begets violence. And I find it interesting and also sort of poignant that the first one was in Texas, of all places. Also, if you haven't seen what is going on in LA, shit is getting wild there. So keep an eye on things, but also keep your wits about you and understand that this is the natural progression of like the timeline that we're on. And buckle up, babes.
Wow. Got a ICE agent who gets shot in the neck, another person who was killed, all this chaos unfolding, and this is the response. And this right here, this is why I don't take chances online anymore. When chaos hit the streets, cyber attacks hit the inbox. Honestly, I didn't realize how exposed I was until it got personal. My number was out there. My old passwords out there. And the crazy part is, I thought I was being careful. I don't click weird links. I use very strong passwords, but none of that matters when your information is already floating out there in the internet. And it's not just social media either. It's your email, your bank account, your whole digital life. And this is why I use Aura.com, the sponsor of today's video. They remove your personal info from data broker sites. They scan the dark web 24/7 and alert you the moment your information shows up in a leak or breach. They monitor your credit, your bank accounts, and your social security number. They even bundle in a password manager, antivirus, VPN, and identity theft insurance, all in one app. Since using Aura, I've seen my data pulled off over 20 broker sites. Imagine how much of your info is out there, celebrity. If you've never checked whether your information has been exposed, now is the time. Go to aura.com/kingdomreacts and start your 14-day free trial on us. By the way, that link is in the description. You might be shocked at what's already out there. I was, but at least now I know I'm protected. And I know I'm doing my part in helping you protect yourself. Now, while Aura protects us from digital predators, ICE agents don't have that luxury in the real world. Because in San Francisco, protesters went beyond shouting. They pulled a gun. They threw themselves on a van. Look, man, this ain't resistance. It's an organized attack.
Unlike anything we've seen out here before, and we've been here since the beginning of June. This was a physical confrontation that pushed through the streets of the financial district for several blocks, ended with a gun drawn, and it all started in that doorway right there. Protesters block the courthouse doors as ICE agents attempt to remove a man they've detained inside. A man, we're told, who had just appeared for a routine immigration hearing. They force their way through the protesters and push the man they're detaining into a van. But the crowd moves with them, including several protesters who threw themselves on the hood of the moving van. As some agents climbed into vehicles, others walked from one courthouse to another, with protesters following step for step. As agents reach the second building, another confrontation, including an agent throwing a man to the ground, and then a gray sedan pulls up. The crowd dispersed after that federal officer stepped out carrying what appears to be an assault rifle. A man who has been operating an information table for migrants outside the courthouse describes the chaos.
You could just see the ICE guys going wild with the batons and like pushing through the crowd, grabbing people's bikes and using them to hit people and stuff.
Even before the larger confrontations began, a San Francisco man who was on his way to work says he was hit by an unmarked ICE SUV in a crosswalk.
Can I have his badge number and name?
He says he now plans to take that agent to court.
I was in the crosswalk. That's my zone. I was a pedestrian in the intersection.
And the confrontations were not limited to protesters and agents. Another San Francisco driver who got out of his truck to yell at protesters said he's tired of demonstrators constantly blocking traffic.
People can't get to work and be a normal person. That's what I'm upset about.
The ICE information table organizer says that inconvenience is nothing compared to what he believes these detainees are facing as they try to legally apply for citizenship or asylum.
They're doing everything they can to be here legally, and for following the procedures, they're getting abducted.
We still do not know why that man was detained. We did reach out to ICE, and we did hear back from a spokesman here in San Francisco who said the agency's putting together a statement. That was a couple of hours ago. So far, we haven't gotten that statement. We're live in San Francisco. Tom Jensen, NBC Bay Area News.
Tense moments in San Francisco. Thank you so much, Tom.
Who's paying for all of this? Wild Bill asks. We know they don't have real jobs. That's not protest, man. That's a siege. But here's where it gets worse. Democrat leadership won't even condemn it. Not even when ICE assaults go up 700%, as we learned yesterday. CNN asked Hakeem Jeffries to speak on it. And let's just say his silence says everything.
According to Axios, some are even being told they need to be more willing to go out there and get shot when fighting. That was a direct quote, get shot when fighting back against some of Trump's policies. One House Democrat saying, quote, and I'll read it to you, our own base is telling us that what we're doing is not good enough. There needs to be blood to grab the attention of the press and the public. How do you respond to that, Leader Jeffries? Are Democrats not meeting the moment, not doing enough to fight these developments?
Well, we are in a more is more environment in terms of the unprecedented assault on the American way of life and our country that has been launched by Donald Trump and compliant House Republicans.
According to Axios.
Oh, this guy just deflects. They said it out loud. They said it. There needs to be blood to get attention. I'm going to let that sink in for a moment. The same party who called ICE the new Gestapo is now pretending to be shocked by violence they helped stir up. But ICE, they not backing down, y'all. In New Jersey, they showed up strong.
About 15 people who work at Alba Wine and Spirits here in Edison have been detained by agents with U.S. Customs and Border Protection. I have been told that agents arrived at this warehouse early this morning. They started rounding people up and asking for identification. And apparently those who did not have the proper paperwork or ID were zip-tied and quickly whisked away in vans.
They couldn't do it, so they didn't like it. They let me go because they have to. But they were just harassing people for no reason. People over here only working, nobody here doing nothing bad.
About 15 people.
But the media didn't show you why they were there. Or the fact that some of those workers didn't even try to present papers. Advocating for illegals, man. And the reaction wasn't fear, it wasn't guilt. It was fear of getting caught. Let's go deeper.
Corey Shirley, the organization New Labor, says that family members rushed to the warehouse with documents in hand, hoping to help their loved ones. We've learned that those detained are being taken to facilities such as this one behind me, Core Civic in Elizabeth, or Delaney Hall in Newark. Now, workers from this facility and advocates argue that if ICE is going after criminals, why are they targeting places where migrants are simply trying to earn a living? It was another morning of work on Tuesday for employees at the Alba Wine and Spirits warehouse in Edison, New Jersey. when immigration and customs enforcement agents stormed the facility.
Well, they came about 9 o'clock and then, go all around the building. Well, he asked for an ID or something you have to prove you can work here,
In a statement to Pix 11 News, the organization New Labor, one of the volunteer groups who responded to the raid, alleges that federal agents entered the location with a list of other workers and checked the immigration status of each, arresting at least 20 people. ICE has not yet confirmed to Pix 11 News the total number detained. David tells me in Spanish that he was zip-tied, but after showing proof of his social security and immigration status, he was let go and given this red bracelet, adding that those without a bracelet were taken away.
There goes another guy.
During a Facebook Live streamed by Reverend Seth Caperdale, ICE agents, some with their faces covered, are seen standing, as several people believed to be migrants are loaded into a van. This worker alleges ICE agents threw him to the ground.
They handcuffed me because, like I said, they were saying that I wasn't listening to them or whatever. They threw me on the floor and everything. And you on break. Wow. And I was in the middle of my break. Wow. They took me out of my car right here.
Edison officials say they were notified but did not assist in the operation due to New Jersey's sanctuary state status. David describes the scene inside his workplace as tense, with people worried and scared. For one, seeing many of his co-workers in this situation is just devastating.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Because, if you have family, you feel very, very nervous, Feel very bad, yeah.
And in that statement, New Labor also claims that ICE agents entered the facility without a warrant. We've contacted ICE and are awaiting a response. Meanwhile, All About Wine and Spirits have not yet commented on this raid. From Elizabeth, New Jersey, I'm Eliezer Marte, Pix 11 News.
So they had 25 years to get legal, and now they want you to believe it's ICE. Who's the problem? This is the Jedi mind trick that they try to play on us every single day. Makes no sense. Now, let's head to Tennessee, where one woman is so afraid of getting caught, she's thinking about deporting herself, which is honestly the best option. But she ain't running from cruelty. She's running from accountability.
Immigrants in Middle Tennessee say they have been living in fear ever since the immigration enforcement operation in Nashville
Nope, I want y'all to be able to hear that clearly. What you say?
Immigrants in Middle Tennessee say they have been living in fear ever since an immigration enforcement operation in Nashville resulted in almost 200 arrests. Thanks for joining us tonight at 10 o'clock. I'm Tracy Cornett. Tonight, our Braden Ross spoke with one woman who says because of it, she's thinking about deporting herself. She asked us to hide her face and change her name to protect her identity.
When Carmen came to the United States more than 25 years ago, it was to escape a life of fear.
Nosotros tuvimos un asalto en México.
We were victims in Mexico of violence.
Over the last 2 decades, she says she feels like she's become a part of the Franklin community.
Pues llegamos aquí.
And since we were here, we just work and work all day.
But now when she looks around, all she can think about is what she'll be leaving behind.
Antes de mayo,
before May, I was feeling really safety here in this country.
Carmen is undocumented. She says she's tried to get legal status but hasn't been able to. And she says since the immigration operations in Nashville in May, the life of fear she left behind in Mexico has returned.
Que no hay vida aquí.
We are not having a life here. We are always in our house without getting outside.
Here, she says she lives with the fear of being incarcerated and deported. So now she says she's seriously considering going back to Mexico on her own.
Conozco personas.
I know some people that they are thinking on doing the same as me because of this situation.
It's something President Donald Trump is encouraging, even introducing a program to give undocumented immigrants free flights back to their countries, plus a $1,000 stipend if they self-deport.
Yeah, I know about the application of CBP Home, but I am not sure that I'm going to do it because I think that it is not real.
Carmen says she's already packed up or sold off most of her belongings. Her adult children, one a citizen and the other a legal resident, are staying behind.
La mayor parte de mi vida he estado aquí.
I feel that this is my home I am not sure how it's going to be in Mexico.
When you came here, it was out of fear. Are you afraid to go back?
Sí.
In Franklin, Braden Ross, WSMV4.
Now let's break this down. She came here legally. Stayed for 25. What's up with this 25 years trend? And still never got legal. And now, again, I'm saying I'm basically repeating the same thing. And now ICE is active again and she's suddenly a victim. No. This isn't about fear. This is about finally being held to the same laws everybody else follows. Simple math to me. But the media won't show you this next clip unless it's framed as a sob story.
What do the children of street vendors do when ICE threatens their family's income? In 14-year-old Christopher Garcia's case, his mom was afraid of the ICE raids, so Christopher took over.
So I can help my mom, help her sell.
The street cart sells all kinds of tamales, including
chicken, red, green, mole, pork, red and green, chicharrón, queso con rajas, espinaca, dulce and elote.
Christopher's story went viral last week when AG Theo Joker posted about it on his Instagram.
I found Chris because a friend of mine said, you got to go see this young man over there that's 14 years old selling tamales.
His original goal was actually to raise enough money to take
the kids that are vending for their parents on trips one day out of the week, enjoy an amusement park, bowling, laser tag. I just wanted to give them a distraction.
What has it been like to see the outpouring of support from the community?
The gratitude that I have, it's hard to pour out to each individual, but I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting Chris and his family. I hope they can realize what's going on in the city and how it's affecting our youth. In August, when he goes back to school, he needs his education. But what happens now to his mom, who needs to make ends meet? What happens to the other vendors? What happens to the 18-year-old that his family was taken from him and he has to care for his little brothers or sisters? I can't wait for us to go on Friday and enjoy Chris's first time ever at Disneyland. Not just Chris, but the other kids that have been affected by the ICE raids that are going with us. Thank you to the community for making this happen.
To learn more about Christopher's story, you can read my colleague's article at latimes.com. Thanks for watching.
And just like that, breaking the law becomes brave. A 14-year-old running an illegal business becomes a viral hero. While ICE agents get death threats, and they are the villains. Make it make sense. And just when they thought no one noticed, CNN slipped up.
Deported all immigrants who are here illegally, 55% of the New York Times, Marquette 64%, CBS News 57%, ABC News with a slightly different question, 56%. So what you're seeing essentially here is a very clear indication that a majority of Americans, in fact, when they're asked this blunt question, which I believe gets at the underlying feelings, do in fact want to deport all immigrants who are here illegally. There's no arguing with these different numbers because they're all essentially the same across 4 different pollsters. Deported all immigrants who are here illegally. 55.
I love that they had to show that the American people have spoken. Even liberal pollsters. Is that how you say that? Can't hide it anymore. Love to see it, man. I gotta figure out what's this anchor's name. Anywho, while the left tries to gaslight and distract with emotional clips and half truths, Trump's message is unchanged.
These are foreign terrorists operating on our soil.
We're going to be targeting some extremely violent offenders today.
The American people should know some of the individuals that we picked up on these ICE operations. Child rapists, child molesters, murderers, convicted arsonists, truly the worst of the worst on the streets.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
They are reporting the worst of the worst like they said they would do.
Can we all just agree that when you break our law of sovereignty at the border, it counts, it matters?
It does. That's who they're protecting. 17 criminal convictions, President Obama on the way to in the van. Meanwhile, ICE gets demonized, Trump's get, blamed, and you and I, we get lied to. But not here. This isn't about cruelty, y'all. This is about consequences. And we're either a country with laws or we're a country with children running illegal food carts while ICE agents literally are bleeding out. You decide. And look, if you're tired of the media lying and the left deflecting and lawlessness being glorified, make sure you share this video, subscribe, stand up, man, because this isn't just a video. It's always a battle with reality. Team Think. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You could be saving their life. Peace.